And this is my second little video on exam practice to do with the hominin timeline. So let's have a look here. So fossil remains of a number of individuals from the genus Australopithecus were found at various sites in the eastern half of Africa and were found to be 3 to 4 million years old. So remember, you don't need to know what species it is, but you are going, it's Australopithecus, it's 3 to 4 million years old. Is it possible that they are descendants of Homo erectus? I'm hoping you say no, yeah, because these were around well before Homo erectus. Do they represent the oldest evidence found of primates? So remember, primates can include monkeys as well. So they're not going to be our oldest evidence of primates. So that's no for A, no for B. Show early evidence that hominins were bipedal. So remember that our Australopithecines were bipedal. So this is a possibility, but we'll check the last one as well. So we're going to represent the earliest examples of the hominoid superfamily. Again, this is a very similar question to statement B. This includes gorillas, chimpanzees, all of those as well. So that one's not going to be correct. So our best answer here is going to be statement C. Here's another question. It says, over the past 20 years, a number of new hominin fossils have been discovered. You can see these are on page 22. Sorry, I didn't direct you to that. All the questions I'm doing are actually in your notes, and this is directing you to page 22. So over the past 20 years, a number of new hominin fossils have been discovered. Homo erectus georgicus was found near the banks of the Black Sea in Georgia, and Homo naledi was found in a cave in South Africa. So what does this mean when you've got three names? So remember how we talked about taxonomy? The first name is going to be your genus, the second name is going to be your species, and the third name is actually a subspecies. Yeah, so there we go. So we are actually called Homo sapiens sapiens now, because we are a subspecies of Homo sapiens, but we're going to get to that later on. So consider the conditions that may have led to the fossilization of members of these species. Complete the table below by identifying one condition in the environment for each species that will have made fossilization possible. The same answer cannot be used for both species. So remember, if they give you one, yeah, you only get marked on your first answer. So you can put more than one condition, but they will mark your first one. All right, so one, and then the same answer can't be used for both species. So Homo erectus georgicus was found near the banks of the Black Sea, and Homo naledi was found in a cave in South Africa. So what's good about those places for fossilization? We're now linking ourselves back, so I'd like you to pause, try and think about it, try and answer it, and here we go. So if you were near the banks of the Black Sea, you could talk about fast burial. Yeah, fast burial by layers of sand or mud. If you could say there was no scavengers or decomposers. You could say that the mineralized water, that's a pretty specific answer. But if you've been to the Black Sea, you know that it's very salty. So therefore, it actually reduces your chances of decomposition. So that's a really good thing. You could talk about there being low oxygen as well, because it's in the water or near the water. The next one is in a cave. So you could say what might help them. Could be the constant humidity, it could be a constant temperature, it could be, again, no scavengers or decomposers. But if you put that here, you can't get the same mark twice. Yeah, so if you put it in the first box, you can't get it in the second box. And the last bit is that no wind, no water, no sunlight. Some students did not adhere to the directive in the question and use the same condition for both species. They would be the people that got 1 out of 2. Or some of the people that got 1 out of 2. So here are 3 views of the skeleton of a hominin species. Based on your knowledge, what do we think they are? Now, we might have to come back to this question, but we'll see how we go. So which one is a correct statement? Do we think it is older than Australopithecus? Australopithecus was quite short, it was still a little bit hunched over, so no. Do we think it has pelvic structure that allows bipedal locomotion? They look very upright, so I'm going to say yes. the species shown in the diagram has a sloping forehead similar to modern day humans. Now, again, we will come back to this question, but my forehead is pretty straight. Yeah, it is not slopey like this. That would be a slopey forehead. So it's not going to be, we don't have a sloping forehead, so it's not going to be C. And does the species shown in the diagram show prominent brow ridges similar to seen in all hominin species? Now, I've spoken to you about absolutes before. Yeah, this is an absolute. Do we have prominent brow ridges? I'm looking at my brows. I'm trying right now, and I don't think I have prominent brow ridges. So I wouldn't say that all hominins have prominent brows. So my answer to this one should be B. Last question to go through here, finding out the age of these. This is back to the Homo naledi fossils. This is on page 28. So it has been both difficult and controversial. A group of scientists claims that the age of the fossils is more than 2 million years and suggests that Homo naledi might be the link between Australopithecus and Homo. So a second group of scientists, so they say the fossil is more than 2 million years. A second group of scientists calculated the age at about 900,000 years and claims it cannot be the link. Yeah, and here we go. They've given you that timeline. So you don't have to necessarily remember the timeline. All I want you to remember is Australopithecus came first, then Homo. And anything more detailed than that, they have to give you, like this question. So if the second group of scientists has correctly dated, what evidence from this diagram supports the claim that Homo naledi cannot be the link? So you should pause and try and answer it. And hopefully you did that. And I'm going to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to about 900,000 years and using my fake ruler, because I'm not using a ruler, I'm going to draw a line up. And if we're saying that Homo naledi is around here, could it be that it existed at the same time as Australopithecus and Homo? No. So what we're looking at is if it was the link, what it should be, and I'm going to use red here, if it was the link, it would have to be around here. Yeah, it would have to be closer to 3 million years ago in order to be that link between the two, because it would need to be, it would need to existed at the same time as both. So what you were looking for here, and you can see it's quite a high average here, Australopithecus died out more than 2 million years ago, or the Homo genus appeared way before that, with some of the answers that we were looking for. And there's just a few questions on human timelines or hominin timelines.